This is author Tim Brown, the book Boys Won't Be Boys. And I'm excited to have with me today Brother Fred Parker, uh, a gentleman I've come to know and respect in the community for his work with young people. This series is about mentoring. It's about how important it is for us as men to come alongside and mentor this next generation. And I can think of a better person to have a conversation with than Brother Parker, who's a 13-year veteran with a community and schools here in Columbus, Ohio. Brother Parker, can you tell us a little bit about community and schools and your role and some of the things that community and schools does in the community?
Absolutely. As Mr. Brown mentioned, I've been with community schools for 13 years, and what we provide is support and guidance for students, girls and boys who, at an early age of preschool all the way to high school, to kind of set up a roadmap and a guide to help them be successful, whether they may struggle in academics, their attendance, behaviors, and or just some one-on-one support, and also some family issues that they may have, and doesn't always have to be something so severe, but sometimes just guidance. And so I've done that over 13 years, and definitely I always say I don't like what I do, I love what I do, because I think it's a form of giving back, and it is something that I knew growing up that I needed. So I definitely enjoy what I do, and continue to do it as well, since we're in a different dynamic of this year being in COVID and pandemic, that there's more needs. And it's not, most of the time people figure they're covered up or they're not, there's more needs at this
Yeah.
time. And yes, sir.
As you mentioned that growing up, you mentioned about giving back growing up. Can you share a little bit about your experience? I think a lot of times guys are involved or a person are involved in this kind of work because of an impact that someone may have had in their life or their background. Can you speak to that?
Yes. You know what? I didn't know I really needed someone in my life. I grew up single parent home, mom raised three kids, but I didn't know I really needed someone to around 12, 13. I was kind of smelling myself a little bit, as my mom would say at that time. And I just thought I had everything figured out. And my mom called somebody, and he came and talked to me. I'm like, who's this guy? I knew who he was, but he's like, well, let me give you a job. He gave me a job at age 12, 13. I'm like, wow, give me a job?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
But I didn't know what that job was doing. He didn't directly say, I'm pulling you away from the streets, or I'm pulling you away from distractions. But that's exactly what he did. He pulled me away from distractions and kind of lean me towards responsibility, making sure I'm checking in to work, making sure I'm calling him. And so that set up a foundation of reliability, and also communication between him and I. And that lasted, like I said, it started at 12, 13, and him and I, we still speak to this day. And that's been over, 30 years now. So I'm very thankful for him. And also, I was involved with youth sports. My friend just texted me over the weekend. Growing up in Ashtabula, Ohio, we had a youth football coach who passed away over the weekend, but I didn't know he was a mentor until I looked back and kind of looked at the foundations that he set, and some of the things that he provided that I also now provide for other students and other players as well. So that foundation was set indirectly. So I definitely appreciate kind of my foundation, and also my mom being very in tune to what I needed. I know we'll talk about that a little bit later, but she was very in tune. She knew that at that present time that I needed some type of male figure.
Yeah, we talk about that. We can just have that discussion now. How important it is for parents, as far as finding a mentor, someone that they know their son needs. But the other part of that is, can you speak to parents about what they should look for in a mentor? They just don't want
Um,
to bring anybody around.
yeah, and that's a great point, Coach. Um, you can find anybody. Um, the one thing that I look for is someone that who wants to be stretched, because everyone, and I say it lightly, but also harshly when I mention the word issues. And a lot of times people figure that they have to go through a whole lot of trauma. You know, dad is not in their life, mom's not in their, just a whole lot of drug. It doesn't always have to be those issues. For me, my oldest son, grew up in he had four parents, mom, stepdad, a dad, and a stepmom. But I still needed him to provide an outlet. So you want to make sure that that whomever that your son or daughter has set for someone to kind of look over or look after, that they're available, and also speak to whatever you're speaking within the household, that they're providing those same things. I know it may, and that's a whole nother thing, that a lot of times that what parents say, the mentor, they just reiterate, it just sounds different.
Yeah.
You know, as far as in being responsible, you know, taking care of your daily chores, taking care of your homework, you want to make sure within this person that they reiterate, that they don't go off course of what the parent is already speaking to. Because you do get, so some people like, hey, I know what your mom is saying, I know what your dad is saying, but let's do this. And that's not really the goal. At the end of the goal, you know, and parents know what they want for their children. And if you go off task, then that's a whole nother battle that you're going to have to kind of go up against, not only your child, but also the mentor. So you want to make sure someone's imparting, you know, great wisdom, but kind of going and giving it a different style, as my son's mentor, as he did. He provided, you know, another outlet, another avenue where he was able to catch his ear, whether I was saying the same exact things. I said, hey, you got to take care of your homework. You got to be on time to clock. And then, you know, mentor, him and I would have conversation. I said the same thing,
Right.
but he responded to the mentor and he listened, and I was okay with that.
Yeah.
And that's what parents have to be willing to do as well. They have to be okay with someone else giving direction for their son or daughter. It's okay as long as it's towards a goal of what you want them to achieve.
Yeah. That's the key, being on the same page, you know, that parent and that mentor being on the same page. And like you said, achieving that same goal. And that goal is success. At the end of the day, that goal is success. That we want that child to be successful. You being on the front line, you know, being right there in the schools, through your experience, even in these times. Well, what would you say are some of those things that you see that young people and students need more than anything else from a man? We're talking about boys. What do those guys need? What they need from us?
Um, I think, and I once again going back to the harshly and lightly, you have to be sensitive to their needs. Not saying that the boys are so not sensitive that they can't take on the heaviness of things, but you got to be sensitive and kind of be heightened to what they've been through and what they haven't been through. And a lot of times we believe that young boys have girlfriends or want to date. Some of them are more focused on school. And if that's what they're needing, reiterate those type of things as well. So that's a lot of times we kind of clump those things together. Whatever one student is going through, another one go through. So that's what I've seen, and sometimes that these boys who are kind of the high attention and or the popular students, some of them don't want to be that popular. And for the ones who are not popular, want to be popular. So it's especially around that, the middle school age, the high school age, they're still trying to find these things out. And so they're gravitating towards an answer. And a lot of times they find it within their own friends or peers, or they're looking for an adult, that kind of that can direct them to the area of need. And some of them that struggle within the attention, just kind of being rough around the edges, maybe fighting in school, or some of those just need that conversation. When I mean that conversation, someone to be very honest and true with them, and sometimes walk them through life. You talk about, jail or dying, you talk about just a tough life. They know that, but what does that look like? And sometimes it takes consistency of having that conversation. And also the boys who are just kind of navigating and kind of just need a great encouragement, whether they're doing great in school academically, but socially they struggle. And what that piece is, they need reiteration, just someone saying everything's going to be okay. Excuse me, you're doing the right thing. Keep on doing what you need to do. Be that shining light. Be that example. Because sometimes they think it's for naught. I had many students who do get all A's, but they don't know the reason why. They don't know at the end of the day that there's a goal. And you mentioned the word success. There's success at the end of this.
Yeah. Part of that is, and you can speak to this, the man, on how do we build those relationships? What are some key points you would speak to men on how to build those relationships?
And I know people just say, just be yourself. one thing I love about kids, whether whatever age, from a 5-year-old to an 18-year-old, that they know what true is, they know what false is, especially when it comes to a personality. If you allow them to know who you are, and I don't sell anything that I'm not. I always let them know that Mr. Parker is Mr. Parker, in this tie and outside of the tie. I don't tend to be someone that I'm not. And with that, that these relationships, you have to kind of find that commonality. Where do you, what's common? Because we all have different walks of life, but I guarantee there's an area we can meet in the middle, whether that be through music, whether that be through sports, whether that just be common interest of a hobby. Those type of things you have to kind of find, and it doesn't start with just one conversation. And that, like I said, you have to reiterate and kind of go back and kind of talk about what you talked about before. And it could be through a movie or movies, just kind of finding those things as well. And also through books, and I know you have a wonderful book that kind of supports. So just those type of things, I think the commonalities, no matter the age, you can be 85 or you can be 15. I think there's a commonality of what someone has went through or going through that you can kind of talk to.
Yes, and even in the book, Boys Won't Be Boys, I talk to young men about the book is based on young guys being uncommon, finding their uniqueness. And I know you have used the book several times with several groups. Can you speak to the impact of the book itself, how it's helped, maybe someone in mentoring?
Absolutely. So I spoke to before about just being different. And a lot of times young men believe that they have to be that, whatever that is. I always share, kids, what's popular. I don't know what that means. The relevance of it, whatever you guys create, the word is to be tough, popular, the young people create that. However, to be uncommon, I think that's a straightforward definition. To be uniquely different. And uniquely different is doing what others are afraid of doing, or doing something that someone is uncomfortable doing. And when you have that uncomfortable thing of doing something different that others already are not doing, it becomes a lifestyle. Because let's just sports for an example. Most people, not most, but there's a lot of boys who enjoy basketball. But there's not many boys who are first in the gym and last in the gym. There's not many boys who's taking these extra shots at the free throw before practice, after practice. There's not many boys who are doing extra laps before practice, after practice. So the common thing is, hey, let's practice at 7 o'clock. I'll show up for 7 and it's over at 9. I'll be done at 9. But who's showing up at 7 in the morning and who's leaving at 11? That's the uncommon thing. And so that's also within the book, kind of doing things that not everyone is doing, and kind of being that person who you can be that example at the end of whatever that journey of success is going to be for the group.
Yeah, and I've really been blessed working with you, and just, the book kind of sets the backdrop, and then watching you kind of follow up, with just reminding those guys of the things that we talked about in the group about being uncommon. And that's part of mentoring, I believe, is that just reinforcing things, constantly, early and often is what I call it. You got to talk to each other early about certain things, and often. You just can't leave it there. It's got to be early and often. So as we wrap up, I want you to issue a challenge to men about mentoring, how important that is, even during these times. We know it's always been important, but why so much now during these times that we're in?
Coach, I love that. The call, I would say, if you ask any young man, there's been someone in their life that kind of helped stabilize the position where they're at now, whether it be a father, whether it be a mentor, whether it be a coach, whether it be your next door neighbor, whether that be an uncle. And a lot of times that challenge for that young man is to kind of have them to do better. So whatever success that we want tomorrow or the next generation to look like, I think we're held responsible to make sure that's done. Being that voice, being that visionary for them. A lot of times they don't know. They perish because they don't have the knowledge or a vision. And so a lot of times we talk about, hey, let's fix this, let's fix that. No one better than yourself. If you have an answer, the best job is to give that answer to someone who is younger, who's able to kind of thrive on those type of things in the generation we want to change. And so I'm calling, for many mentors and for many men out there, not if you're not a mentor yet, just to step in the area. We're in this COVID world, and we're saying, how can we help? There's many avenues. If not, your nephew, if not your cousin, reach out to your family. They're right in your own family. You don't have to go far. And the thing is, you don't have to have a trick pony or anything like that. Just come, just be an ear, just be a common ear. So let's not look too far. Look straight into your family. And then outside of, if you're coaching, if you're looking to coach, you don't always have to be the coach. You can just be coming, on Tuesdays, just to share a word with the group. Be available to this next generation, because they're struggling more than we believe. And like I said, a lot of times our young men wear a vest of protection, but underneath that vest is a hurting heart. And so they could definitely need a lending ear and a voice to someone speaking to their life.
Wow, that's powerful. I appreciate that challenge, especially coming from you, someone who's on the front line,
Yes, sir.
Every day, who's working it every day. And I always tell men that kids don't, and dads, or just men, period, kids don't need your presence. Keep the presence. They need your presence.
Yes,
they
sir.
need to be there. They don't need the gifts. They just need your presence. Just to be around. And that's what you've done. You've been there. You've been there, and I've seen you in action. And those boys know, if nothing else, and those girls as well, and those buildings, nothing else, Mr. Parker's going to be there.
Yes, sir.
He's that ear. He's that one that they can talk to. And so I appreciate all that you're doing in the community. And I pray a blessing over you and your family. And I pray you continue to be strengthened in doing what you're doing. So I appreciate your time, and I look forward to us getting together soon. We can do face to face, and getting
Yes,
back
sir.
with these guys. But in the meantime, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. How can folks get involved with community and schools? Can you just share with the audience how they can get involved?
Absolutely. We have expanded. We're not, we used to be community schools of Central Ohio. Now we've expanded out to community schools of Ohio. So we're in different regions as well, in Dayton, Cincinnati, Toledo, Akron area, and also Cleveland, and also in Southwestern City Schools and Columbus City Schools. And there's different site coordinators, and different, these coordinators help provide those needs for families and for students. And so I can be reached if you want to reach out to me, or if you have any questions how your son or daughter can get involved with a site coordinator. You can reach out to me at fparker@ciskids.org. That's fparker@ciskids.org.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you soon. All right. Be blessed. Have a great day.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.